Good morning, good evening, everyone. Today we will start discussing about torts. And since it's a new subject, we will start. We will talk first little bit background, some keywords, and then what we will get throughout the subject. Give me 1 minute. Someone is. Okay, so when we talk about tort means something that is not written as an some statute like IPC or something well documented. So it's based on some precedents, some we can say some perceptions, and then mostly quoted by judges. They just want to give some relief if someone has some loss or damage by someone else. So two humans, if one human is creating some loss, damage, then judges try to compensate. So this is all tort. So in legal term, when we talk about tort, tort is some civil injury. So why we are saying civil injury, or because it's one, it is related to one personal right. It's not the public right. So when we are talking public right, we were discussing a lot when we were doing crime classes, right? So here we are talking personal. So this is these definitions we put it here. It is more of an academic. Sometimes these all definitions looks very abstract, sometimes difficult and very um, deep words. But every lot of different these academicians, they put definitions in their way. They just want to emphasize one some word and then give the definition. Salmond, Winfield, Pollock. I can read all this, but it is self-explanatory. I just put all the definitions here. So no need to go here and there just to collect the definitions. But if we have to write a very common definition, then we can say tort is a civil wrong, or this one. This is most written in general language or terms. This one. So what Salmond says tort is a civil wrong for which the remedy is a common law action for unliquidated damages. Here each and every word has some very specific meaning for law. When we are saying civil wrong means there is a private wrong. It's not a public means there is no damage, right? Damage to body, or there is no something that cannot be covered in IPC or somewhere else or contract. If something we cannot cover in any written statute or any law somewhere else, then it goes into civil law. So it goes to civil law. Okay. And then as we discussed earlier, the tort mainly runs on precedents set by judge, and it's from mainly from UK. And it was an error, right? Because most of the rules written by these judges and then academicians in UK, the same thing here. So what they just based on some history or some very we can say um, just to compensate or just to give some relief, they slowly come to some formulas, and it is called these torts. Based on that, they are doing. So this is civil wrong, and now they are saying two things: unliquidated damages. Damages, again, it's a legal term. If some loss happened to the party who's against this tort happened. So now they are saying unliquidated. Unliquidated means so there are two: liquidated, unliquidated. When we do a contract, there is a limit defined. So if I'm doing a contract with person A doing contract with person B, in contract definitions, it is written that if there is a breach of contract, what will be the consequences? It's 10 lakh rupees, 1 crore rupees, but then the boundary is defined. If boundary is defined, liquidated. Here we don't know. So so damage it calculated based on previous state and then based on this precedent or based on this judge. They give this damage. So damage means if some loss happened, how to compensate it. This is damage, which is not exclusively the breach of contract. That's we are saying. Tort means something is not covered in either in contract or somewhere else in IPC. That it goes to the tort. It may possible in some cases that there are tort also, there is IPC also. But in broader terms, we take only if something is not covered somewhere else. This definition is from Salmond and then go to Winfield. See, the meaning of all the definitions are same. Just is academicians, they put their words in different way and they just define the boundary when they are writing this definition. Second definition is Winfield, tortious liability. So here he's talking about the liability. So tortious, very layman term, it's a torture, some loss happened. Tortious means some damage happened because of the tort. Some civil wrong happened. Because of that, there is a liability. Arises from the breach of duty primarily fixed by the law. This duty is towards persons generally, and its breach is redressable by an action of, again, see, Salmon and Philippi both are same. They just put words here and there. Meaning is same. Something not so good happened by person A to person B, and there is a damage. If there is a damage, then there is a remedy. And remedies again in terms of unliquidated damages because it's not predefined. Nobody knows when it happened, tort was happened. But in contract, it's predefined. If there is a breach of contract, what will be the consequences? The limit is defined there in contract. Here it's not. It's unliquidated. Then this guy Polo came, he wrote a book and then he gave again this definition. Tort is an act or omission. So he just expanded this boundary. So it's not only act, it might be some omission also. So there was a duty or responsibility of one person, but that person is not performing that duty or responsibility. Because of that, because of omission of this duty, someone else happening means facing this problem, right? Damage or loss. If the other person is experiencing loss, again it's a tort. Not merely the breach of duty arising out of personal relations or undertaken by contract. See again, they're everywhere they are saying contract, right? Because contract defining this, what will happen in term when it goes good, what happen it when it doesn't go good. Contract define all the boundaries. Tort is not. Same thing. So there is the word they are saying civil remedy. So all three definitions are almost same meaning, just words here and there. Now the guy of Faeser saying tort is infringement. This is interesting thing. Infringement of a right in rem. Rem is a personal right. Right in rem. It is again these maxim terms of a private individual giving of compensation at the suit of the injured party. So here this guy is not saying damage, this guy is saying compensation. Meaning is same. All the definitions. The next guy is Peter Briggs. What he's saying? The breach of legal duty, which affects the interest of an individual to a degree which the law regards as sufficient to allow that individual to complain on his or her own account rather than as a representative of society as a whole. He put in a different way, but again the same thing. He's just saying that it should be against an individual. Now this guy, should I read all or it's self-explanatory? Let me
It is
cover very quickly. Yeah,
self-explanatory.
let me cover very quickly. Not okay. Now this guy is saying Roderick saying an act or omission which unlawfully violates a person's right. See, here everyone is talking about a person's individual rights, personal rights, right? That's why we are saying it's a civil injury created by law for which the appropriate remedy. Again, see, some people are saying remedy, somewhere people saying compensation, some people are saying damage paid. meaning is same in a very broad term. By the injured person. Ketone and ketone. Tort law is a body of law concerned with granting or denying claims of individuals, again, one person, or impersonal legal entities against each other for the award of damages or other forms of legal reliefs. Again, self-explanatory, same thing almost. Just words here and there. We don't expect that it will ask, give these definitions. But if we read and there is some question based on these terms, then we can easily explain that someone said in that way. Edward Kianka, tort is an elusive concept, has defied attempts to formulate a useful definition. The one common element is that someone has sustained a loss. That's the important thing, right? One person sustained a loss or harm because of other person's action, directly or indirectly. So either some action was taken or some duty was not performed and omission happened. If because of these events, person B suffered some loss, it is tort. Now, this definition is interesting. Section 2M Limitation Act 1963. This is codified. Tort means a civil wrong which is not exclusively a breach of contract of trust. This is the only codified definition. This guy, John Murphy and Kristen, they wrote a book. The book name is Street on Torts. And then they give this definition. Tort is that branch of civil law relating to obligations imposed by operation of law on all natural and artificial persons. These obligations owned by one person to another embody norms of conduct that rise outside the contract and unjust enrichment. This is more elaborated definition, but again, almost same thing. Some let's take a pause. Please add if someone wants to add something. These are the definitions, and these are in a course. If we see the first chapter, they mentioned here definitions. Anything you want to add?
No, you can continue.
Okay. Now, when we will go a bit deeper, then when we talk about a tort, we talk about three essential elements of a tort. So whenever we are talking about the tort, there is a wrongful act. Something wrongful happened. It may possible purposefully or intentionally or not intentionally, that's a different thing. But some wrong thing happened. And then duty imposed by the law. And the third one is the act must give rise to legal or actual damage. So when we are talking about legal or actual, that we will discuss in detail when we will talk about this injuria and then damage. So this is legal or actual damage. Both are different things. And there is a question of now little bit about we will see here as a keywords. What about the category of private rights? So there are personal right means individual rights. One person's right. Personal rights regarding safety and freedom of the person. And these are the right. And how infringement happens? Someone may assault to other person or battery. So assault and battery different thing. Battery means the body contacted, right? So, and then false imprisonment. So if these are the cases, these cases goes into this one. Safety and freedom. Now, second category is personal relationships. Seduction, enticing. We were discussing a lot and about enticing when we were seeing that if someone convince some minor to do something wrong, so in the IPC, right? Seduction, enticing away of servants, etc. And the third category is personal rights regarding reputation. So this is defamation, and we will discuss a lot when we will talk about defamation. This thing, the entire chapter based on that is there, defamation. So I put it all these here, so we will make up our mind that we are going to use these terms again and again. Now, what I want to talk here again and again, this thing. So timeline. This is very, very interesting thing. When we are now learning law, understanding law, so I always find this timeline is very, very interesting in each subject, whether it's tort, IPC, or family law, all laws, the timeline is very important. So I will talk a little bit more about this timeline, how we will use it. So here, when we talk about the timeline, so we should always put the center focus on when the exact event occurred. So before going this timeline, let's take a pause again if we want to add more. Someone? हमने अब तक डिस्कस किया है सारी डेफिनेशंस को, और ये डेफिनेशंस का डॉक्यूमेंट मैंने शेयर भी कर दिया है, वहां से ले सकते हैं। अभी हम फर्स्ट डिस्कशन स्टार्ट हुआ है टॉर्ट से, तो हम अभी कीवर्ड्स पे ज्यादा बात कर रहे हैं कि ये कीवर्ड और थोड़ा सा आइडिया, सारी डेफिनेशंस हैं और ये कोर्स में है। कुछ ऐड करेंगे?
मैं ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट और टॉर्ट में जो डिफरेंस है, जैसे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में आपको केवल मॉनेटरी वैल्यू आपको एज अ कंपनसेशन मिलता है, ठीक है। बट टॉर्ट में ऐसा नहीं है। टॉर्ट में आपको मॉनेटरी भी मिल सकता है, वो और क्या कहते हैं इमॉनेटरी भी हो सकता है, वो पेक्यूनियर वैल्यू के अलग भी हो सकता है। पैसों के अलावा भी आपको किसी तरह से आपको कंपनसेट किया जा सकता है। ये डिफरेंस होता है कॉन्ट्रैक्ट और टॉर्ट में।
तो ये एक डिफरेंस जो है एक अलग से टॉपिक है, और ये फर्स्ट चैप्टर में दे रखा है कि आप 3-4 तरह के कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, उसमें टॉर्ट और क्राइम में डिफरेंस, टॉर्ट और कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में डिफरेंस, और टॉर्ट ऑफ कॉजी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में डिफरेंट, इस तरह का सब दे रखा है। दैट आफ्टर डिस्कसिंग ऑल द कॉन्सेप्ट वी विल टेक the separate question on these topics. Okay, let's start then this timeline. See, whatever we are reading, if we are reading IPC, it's very important to understand when person A shoot other person, exact time. It matters the most. Here, it is important when the exact event happened that caused the tort. अच्छा, टॉर्ट समझने के लिए, टॉर्ट को जब हम बुक में पढ़ रहे हैं, केस मेट में पढ़ रहे हैं, तो एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है। अगर हम हमारी डे टू डे लाइफ में देखें तो हम खुद ही एक दूसरे को टॉर्ट पढ़ा रहे हैं। अब मैं आपको एक बहुत बढ़िया वो देता हूँ, अगर आपको टॉर्ट को फीलिंग समझना है ना, टॉर्ट क्या है सोसाइटी में, बहुत अच्छा सा एक छोटा सा इन्वेस्टमेंट है, 100 रुपए का खर्चा होगा आपका केवल, और आप टॉर्ट समझ जाए। आपको करना क्या है, आप अपनी बाइक लीजिए, और बाइक लेके ना किसी दूसरी बाइक के पीछे से आप देख के थोड़ा ध्यान से, और सस्ती वाली बाइक पे मारना, उसके साइड वाला इंडिकेटर तोड़ दो। ये सबसे सस्ती चीज है जब आप इंडिकेटर तोड़ेंगे, बाकी सारी चीजें महंगी होती है। आप पीछे से जाइए, बैक लाइट पे एक इंडिकेटर तोड़ दीजिए, उसके बाद जो भी होगा ना, उस चीज को आप इस टाइमलाइन में फिक्स करिए, और देखिए वो जो बात करेगा, आर्गुमेंट करेगा, वही टॉर्ट है एग्जैक्टली। जब आप वो बाइक आगे लेकर जा रहा था और आपने इंडिकेटर नहीं तोड़ा, उससे पुरानी की एक स्टेट, वो अलग चीज है बिल्कुल। फिर आपने एग्जैक्ट उसको हिट कर दिया पीछे से, इंडिकेटर टूट गया, वो अलग चीज है। उसके बाद वो बीच वाला पार्ट छोड़ देते हैं, वो क्या बोलेगा तो शुरू शुरू में। उसके बाद वो साइड में गाड़ी लगेगी और वो बंदा बताएगा, तो एक्चुअली वो ये कह रहा होगा मेरा नुकसान कर दिया, इसमें अब 200 या 300 रुपये लगेगा। वो यही बताना चाह रहा है आपको कि जो डैमेज हो गया है ना, उसकी वो उसकी एग्जैक्ट वैल्यू क्या है उसके हिसाब से। ये काम जो बाइक कर रहा है ओनर, वो काम जज करता है, जब वो बताता है क्या कंपनसेट होगा, वो आपको बताएगा। उसके बाद क्या है ना, वो डिपेंड करता है। अगर वो आपने सिंपल कोई छोटी मोटी बाइक को फोड़ा है पीछे से, वो 100 रुपये मांगेगा, 200 में छूट जाओगे। लेकिन अगर आपने हमर की लाइट तोड़ दी या कोई और बड़ी गाड़ी उठा के बेंटली की गाड़ी तोड़ दी, अब वो आपसे पूछेगा मेरे को इसमें 25,000 रुपए की लाइट है, खर्चा है, तब फिर आप सेटबैक हो जाओगे, तब बोलोगे मैं इतने तो नहीं दे पाऊंगा। ऐसा जज भी करते हैं कंपनी, वो देखते हैं कि जो बंदा है जिसने टॉर्ट किया है उसकी पेइंग कैपेसिटी है कि नहीं। वो बहुत सारे कंसिडरेशंस रहते हैं उसमें, ये चीज है। तो ये एक छोटा सा एक लाइट नोट पे एग्जांपल है। अब हम यहाँ से स्टार्ट करते हैं। जब एग्जैक्ट इवेंट हैपन, वेन एवर, दिस टाइम इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, उसके पहले द स्टेट इज प्रीवियस स्टेट, एंड आफ्टर दैट incident, I put it this: reported, facts established, and judgment. These are important for everywhere, whether it's IPC or contract, anywhere. So event happened, that caused the tort, and after that it was reported, then lot of argument happened, whatever, then fact established, and then there is a judgment. Our case mate, our study only after facts establishment. Facts are established, the the question is there, facts are there written. Now we have to put our legal reasoning, analyze these facts based on our understanding and the sections or precedent, whatever, and then write the judgment. That's what we were asked. Now again here, why this previous state happened? When we will analyze these cases and we will write this legal reasoning a judgment, that time there is a term will come, foreseeability. Foreseeability. Foreseeability means, now see, you are here now. If you are here, so if I am sitting here before previous state, the concept comes into the picture is foreseeability. So if something can be imagined or foresee as a normal human being in same circumstances, and that person can foresee, but still that person is ignorant, that person is doing a tort, this previous state. So two places this previous state is very important. One, when we will say that person is liable or not, that time we will calculate the foreseeability, one thing. When, and the other time it is very important is when we will calculate the actual damage or compensation, because the purpose of this entire tort exercise is we want to revert back situation after event to the extent possible to the previous state. In our bike example, if you hit the bike 2:30 p.m., at 2:25 the bike has two indicators, back indicators working. So after hitting that, the person will only ask from you, I want this indicator working. So what you will do, you will replace this indicator and you will try to restore the situation before event happen. So at the 2:25 p.m. This is very important. So that's what two times it's very important. One, when we are calculating this damage and try to uh, compensate it, that time. And the other time is when this event happened, whether it was foreseeable or not by the same level of general and ordinary person. Now, event happened, then reported, facts established, and the judgment. We will keep talking about this timeline again and again. And each rule and each concept changes. If we are sitting here at previous state, rules change. If we are sitting here when event is happening, concept change. And after that, concept change. So that's what this timeline is important. Okay, let me take a pause. कुछ ऐड करिए इसमें.
The purpose of the tort is to restore the कहते हैं restore the situation that was before the incident happened. This is the main goal of the tort in every situation. है ना? तो उसको कहते हैं करने के बहुत सारे तरीके हो सकते हैं, पिक्यूनरी वैल्यू से भी, अदर तरीके से भी होते हैं. जैसे कि हम कहते हैं लाइट वाले में होगा कि या तो आप उसको पैसे दे दो या तो आप उसको साइड लाइट कहते हैं वापस रिपेयर करवा के दो.
हाँ,
तो दोनों तरह से हो सकता है.
जो भी है मतलब एज मच एज पॉसिबल प्रीवियस स्टेट में पहुंच.
और ये कहते हैं ये जो टॉर्ट है ये प्राइवेट पर्सन पे होता है. दूसरी बात, पर्सन की बॉडी. दूसरा प्राइवेट प्रॉपर्टी. एंड थर्ड ऑल्सो इज मेंटल. अगर होता है तो फिजिकल डैमेज एज वेल एज मेंटल डैमेज.
हाँ.
ठीक है.
हाँ, अब मैं एक चीज और ऐड करता हूँ कि जब हम बाकी चीजें भी पढ़ रहे हैं, हम जो कोडिफाइड पढ़ रहे हैं, चाहे वो फैमिली हो या वो आईपीसी हो, उसमें टॉर्ट में एक थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस है. टॉर्ट में ज्यादातर चीजों को मैक्सिम की टर्म्स में बोला गया है. सो नाउ मैं भी क्या करेंगे, आई विल लिस्ट आउट सारे मैक्सिम जो भी हैं और उनको फिर डिस्कस करेंगे एज एन कीवर्ड. दो चार मैक्सिम मैं बता देता हूँ, हमने डिस्कस भी किया है. जैसे पहला वाला है इंजूरिया सिने डैमनो, डैमनम सनी इंजूरिया, जो हो गया. तो वो बहुत सारे बोलते रहते हैं, एक वॉलंटरी नॉन फिट
एक
इंजरी.
होता है रेस्ट स्पाइलोक्यूटर.
हाँ हाँ, वो
दूसरा है.
सिचुएशन अपने आपको बता रही है.
हाँ.
रेस लोक्यूटर, ये बहुत सारे हैं. तो ये जब सारे मुझे लगता है 50 के आसपास हैं. इफ यू लिस्ट 50, वो सफिशिएंट है, खत्म है. तो मैं नेक्स्ट क्लास में आई विल शेयर एवरीथिंग. तो मैंने एक और पिक्चर शेयर कर दिया है, वो यहाँ पर तो नहीं, मेरे पास तो है. उसमें लिस्ट डाउन किया है. तो इसको आज इतना ही रखें.
ठीक है, एज योर विश.
हाँ, वही कह रहा हूँ, इतना ही रखते हैं. और कुछ जैसे आप शेयर करो इसमें बताओ.
अभी तो कहते हैं हम लोग
इसका
डेफिनेशन
बेसिक है,
एड.
ये इसका बेस है.
डेफिनेशन है. दूसरा है कि अभी कहते हैं बहुत सारी चीजों पे हम लोग बात करेंगे, जैसे नेग्लिजेंस है, ब्रीच ऑफ
हाँ,
ड्यूटी
वो
है, वो सब
डिटेल में जाएंगे, वो चैप्टर है, वो
बाद
डिटेल,
में जाएंगे. हाँ.
वो डिटेल में जाएंगे. वो तो हर दिन एक क्लास लगेगा उसमें. आज का ये इंपॉर्टेंट है, फर्स्ट चैप्टर में सिर्फ डेफिनेशन इंपॉर्टेंट है.
एलिमेंट्स में
डेफिनेशन में कुछ ज्यादा ऐड ऑन करने का होता नहीं है यूजुअली. मतलब डेफिनेशन जो जैसी होती है बस एज इट इज समझ नहीं होती, तो हम उसे अपने आप से ज्यादा कुछ ऐड ऑन नहीं कर सकते
हम
उसमें.
इसको, हाँ इसको,
हाँ, बट इन केस ऑफ प्रिंसिपल्स वी कैन डू.
हाँ इसको याद ही नहीं रखेंगे, पर ये एक बार पढ़ना जरूरी होता है. तो कि एक बार पढ़ लिया तो ये लगेगा हमने ये कहीं ना कहीं सुनी है.
जैसे
सरप्राइज नहीं
जैसे
होगा
कि
माइंड, और कुछ नहीं है.
जैसे इसमें एक्ट के साथ साथ ओमिशन भी इंक्लूड किया गया है. फिर
हाँ,
कंपनसेशन,
ये सारे
डैमेज,
कीवर्ड मिल गए.
इंजरी, इन सब की बात की गई है.
वरना क्या होगा ना कि कहीं आंसर में कुछ लिखा होगा, कहीं कुछ लिखा होगा, फिर वो सब वो
और एक और चीज. हाँ.
बट दिस
इंजरी
इज
का मतलब.
इम्पोर्टेंट, दिस वन एवरी
हाँ.
मस्ट.
इंजरी का मतलब जो लेमन टर्म में होता है वो फिजिकल इंजरी से नहीं है. यहाँ पे लीगल इंजरी का मतलब होता है लीगल राइट का इंजरी. ठीक है.
इन्फ्रिंजमेंट ऑफ योर लीगल राइट,
एग्जैक्टली exactly.
प्राइवेट
यहाँ
लीगल,
पे ये चीज.
दिस वन,
हाँ, ये चीज ध्यान रखना है कि इंजरी का मतलब यहाँ पे लीगल इंजरी से है.
दिस वन. अभी मैं रिकॉर्डिंग रोक दूं.
यस, यू कैन डू.